Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We have gone through so many weeks of qualifiers. We've chosen select players to come from various regions around the world. And today you will find out just how the brackets will fill up for what will arguably be one of the best competitions that we will see all year. It is the PokerStrategy.com TSL3. I'm DJ Wheat. Joining me is Chill. And Chill, we have so much going on today.
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous because not only do I guess you and I already know the brackets and they're pretty crazy, but
I know
there's one I guess question mark left on that bracket, and just due to the different format. This is a new format to the TSL and the TSL3. We've actually got a tie for the qualifiers, and that means we're looking at Select versus Strelok, which is coming up very shortly here. Those are two very, very high-profile Terran players who, arguably both should be in the TSL3, but we're going to have to drop one of them off this afternoon.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And if you tuned into last week's TL Open, which is also the last TSL qualifier, you heard and we saw the drama unfold with how the points were distributed based off of how these players did throughout the competitions. And there is no doubt that a lot of people were hoping to see this matchup here, dignitas.SeleCT taking on mouz.Strelok. Now, one other thing to consider is that there's a very good distribution of all regions here in this competition, but I have to say there are some phenomenal foreigners in here, both from Europe and from Korea. And so, there's also a regional thing going on here because I know a lot of the Americans want to see Select go through. A lot of the Euros, they're rooting for Strelok. He's been making a big name for himself lately and doing very well in some competitions. And how is it going to round out kind of the whole bracket? So today we are going to be bringing you the qualifier playoff featuring Select and Strelok. And then later on, once it's all finished, we're going to be bringing Liquid Tyler on, and we will be unveiling the brackets, and that will be probably as exciting as these games.
Yeah, and I guess one other thing to mention before we jump right in, if you remember back to the TL Opens before they became the qualifiers for the TSL, Select actually was tearing them up back then, back when it was just $100 prize pool. I think he took number 1 and 2 back to back.
Yep.
So he has made a big wave in there. If he could have moved those results into the TSL3 qualifiers, he definitely would have done that. But unfortunately, not the case. Because we have both of these players exactly tied in the qualifier points.
And it's amazing that it could even come down to that, just to get this extra playoff match, this qualifier playoff that determines who will make it into that bracket of legendary players at this point. That's going to be really awesome to see what happens here today. So we are going to get started with these games here. A best of 5 matchup between, as Jill said, two very, very well-respected and phenomenal Terrans. And that just means that there will be one more T entering into the TSL3. And, would you have any initial thoughts, Chill, on this matchup before we get started?
Well, I'm just wondering the exact format. As you mentioned, best of 5. I can see game 1 is actually going to be loaded on Scrap Station. So I assume it was a random first map pool and then loser picks with the standard TSL map pool. I've got maps gonna play a pretty big factor in TVT. Despite it being a mirror matchup, there's a lot of different ways TVT can be played. If you favor the more like hardy, manly style of making mostly Marines and attacking straight up with mechanical units, then you're going to want to play on more, I guess, open moves. But if you like harassing with the Banshees, doing cloak harassment, kind of cutesy moves like that, you're going to want to be playing on more closed-off maps. So map selection, a big factor, even in a mirror matchup.
Yep, I absolutely agree. And, again, two phenomenal players. How will they clash? Well, let's waste no more time. We're going to start off with the qualifier playoff, and then when we come back after the games, we'll be doing the bracket show to tell you exactly how these brackets are going to fill out. So without further ado, guys, let's get ready. It's time for the qualifier playoff between Select and Strelok, and in just a moment, we'll go into game number 1.
5, 4, 3,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Chill. I'm very, very excited for this matchup to find out exactly what we're going to be seeing. Scrap stations, kind of an interesting match to start off on because we always talk about all the this race, and at one point it was a Zerg favored map, but when you put two mirrors on the map, then pretty much everything's straight up. Both have the ability to take the island, both have the ability to go with strong pushes through the center, both have the ability to go down there and maybe steal a gold and see what develops from there. So then comes down to how do the racial abilities help them, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Why don't you tell us where our players are at?
All right, so spawning in the top of the map, we have dignitas.SeleCT spawning as the red Terran, and on the right side of the map, we have mouz.Strelok as the blue Terran. And just to answer some questions that I guess I posed myself, the map pool is a set order, so we're going to be playing in the following order: Scrap Station, Lost Temple, Shakuris Plateau, Metalopolis, followed by Zelnega Caverns if necessary. And also to kind of balance the latency, they went back and forth on servers as well. So game 1 on North America, game 2 and 3 on Europe, game 4 and 5 on North America.
Okay, interesting. Like to hear that too. So players don't have to necessarily deal with that. And we've got the first game underway, folks. This is the qualifier playoff between dignitas.SeleCT and his Terran opponent, mouz.Strelok. Right now we have barracks going down on both sides, the refinery as well, and we'll just see how these are going to develop out. We do have gas being finished up by both players. And Chill, we've been watching a lot of GSL. We've been watching a lot of these players compete in other competitions as well. And as you mentioned, SeleCT really coming out as an early favorite as StarCraft 2 is starting to bloom, and the first competitions of 2010 were taking place. But now, SeleCT isn't as necessarily, I would say, as big of a name as he was when he first started, and getting a spot in the TSL3 would help reverse that a whole lot.
And that's just what happens in the StarCraft community with momentum and kind of I want to say like PR and just getting your name out there. If you go and download a bunch of SeleCT replays or watch VODs of him, he's still an amazing Terran. It's just a little bit of luck that needs to fall into place for you to take down a tournament and get your name out there. He's still an incredible Terran player. It's not like he's fallen off the map since winning TL Opens and coming in second in the MLG. Still doing really well. It's just, can you put it together when necessary? We can see he's pushing out here with 2 Marines. Strelok having 2 Marines as well, gonna push those back right away. Just the initial harassment, trying to get some scouting information, 2 against 3. Not a good matchup for SeleCT to be in, and he realizes it, withdrawing immediately.
Yeah, that's like the 7th grade math matchup. Like, okay, 3,
which is bigger.
2. I got it. Not quite like the sort of quantum physics and sort of calculus aspects of when you have 2 giant armies and you're like, I don't know who could win this one. I'm not Rain Man. I can't calculate this in my head. We have almost an identical build order going on both sides, Chill. We do have more of a stealth tech, if you will, coming out of STRELOK, where he has put his factory and his starport in the lower corner, where his opponent, SeleCT, has just decided to go ahead and build right there at his ramp, making a switch right now. However, he did have some pretty good control of the Zelnega Tower. Right now, we do have a Hellion taking out at least 1 Marine, but another Marine comes in to help out, and that's why SeleCT can do that too. He is being very active about controlling the center of the map. And while that may not seem like the biggest deal in the world, he is hiding his tech and his build as well as he possibly can, and having control of that middle ground on Scrap Station into the mid and late game is so important.
I'm really surprised that we just saw Strelok donate his Hellion there. With a little bit of micro, he could have pulled it away from the 2nd Marine and probably would still have that Hellion alive controlling the Watchtower, but as it is, gave it away to SeleCT. We can see both players transitioning into Banshees. Do we have Cloak for Strelok? No, we have Cloak for neither player on the way. Both of them eventually getting to the same place as we see a scan for SeleCT going down. Going to throw up his vision and see exactly what did he see. He saw the starport. He did not see the add-ons, but I think he can infer that Banshees are on the way. Let's see how he reacts, if he's going to put down an eBay. Not quite, and a lot of active add-on swapping going on here for SeleCT as he's moving his buildings around. first Banshee coming in for Strelok, going to just kite around on those Marines, be annoying as possible. Select trying to deal with it with his Marines, but you can see a strong Banshee player able to do just too much damage with his Banshees against Marines.
Yeah, that's some good micro there, minimizing as much damage as he can. Finally down to about 26. Now, we do have the Banshee of Select going over, but one thing I noticed is that there it is. Strelok did make a Viking in all this, and that is just going to ruin this Banshee's day. Sure, he might be able to get a Marine kill, but if a second Marine kill, but 2 Marines for a Banshee, not the best trade in the world. Strelok now repairing his Banshee, very smart. Meanwhile, though, Select kind of just using that as a decoy as he's getting his command center. We've already got Strelok now morphing into an orbital, and he'll float that down in just a moment, and they'll be about matched up pretty good, but he'll have his orbital way before. Banshee coming back in. Marines chasing it out, and it gets away with 26 points of health, Chill. Just enough. Raven came out.
Yeah,
too.
so I guess that Banshee did kind of theoretical damage, because now all these Marines damaged from stimming, gonna have to wait for medevacs to come out. He's not gonna feel as comfortable putting a second stim down on them if need be. I'm surprised Strelok took a bit of a supply lead early on. A while back, the supplies were something like 52 for Strelok to 38, I believe, for Select. Now it's evened up, 51 for Select, 58 for Strelok. As the Banshee comes around, just going to snipe that SCV. That's really annoying to delay the expansion. And the income is going to show it as Strelok has his orbital command completed. He's already dropped a mule out of it and floating it over towards his natural.
And we do have a medevac filled up with 8 Marines heading over. It is going to meet up in the sky with this Banshee. Banshee getting taken out in the middle, though. In fact, a trade on that Marine as he machine guns it down, and one last missile. I won't give up! And it just took that guy out. Meanwhile, the drop is coming up here on the ledge. And this is going to be so bad, Chill. There are 2 siege tanks down there. I do not believe any vision of this. Select's like, okay, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to run in. Here comes the stim. Absolutely crushed. Losing 5 Marines in that, Chill. Ouch.
Yeah, just walked directly into a trap. And we have another drop going on in the main base. Select moving in with 8 Marines, and he's actually got a Raven out. He's going to drop some turrets as he's moving over, stimming in, dropping the turrets to take out the SCVs. Marines going to work with their stutter step, tippy toe micro moving in. The Raven actually going to get focused down, but the auto turret's doing a lot, and Strelok doesn't have any medevacs over here. He's forced to unsiege his tanks and bringing back a Raven as well. This has done a lot of damage. The harvester count very equalized, 33 to 32. Select out of places to run, but he actually snipes off the Viking and then runs back into the medevac. Wow. Getting away and gets all of his Marines home and safe back to the good old red Terran main base.
That's actually really surprising. He did manage to do some good damage there, and as you mentioned, at first, well, it didn't seem like he was going to be able to do a whole lot. He lost a bunch over at the natural, but suddenly really rebounded from that. He did lose a Raven and all that, but all that mining time was lost. He managed to snipe, I believe, 1 supply depot, 1 almost going down as well. And we do have, well, that's just a Marine headed down from Select. Thought it might be an SCV. He's going to take vision from down below anyway. And here we go, moving through the middle, Chill. We've got a pretty large force here from Strelok, and the big difference is going to be the number of siege tanks. We have obviously medevacs here for Select, and he is going to siege up just outside, so this could be interesting, seeing how Select will play this one.
Strelok, meanwhile, he knows he's been spotted, so he loads up into the medevac. He's going to drop 7 Marines into the main base, but Select is all over it. He stims, runs right up, going to take out all these Marines. Strelok actually not doing that great of a job of reinforcing. He's got a lot of forces in his main base, about 15 Marines and a siege tank as his drop gets cleaned up in Select's main base. And I think Select is in a good spot to defend this as he scans the retreating army. And Strelok knows this isn't a lane he really wants to drive through. He gives it up and returns back to his main base. And that is the correct play. You have an idea what you want to do, but if it gets scouted and defended properly, you need to just give it up. And Select is responding by loading a lot of medevacs and flying through the southern area of the map.
Oh, and he might get spotted here by 3 Marines, their patrol, and he's going to go ahead and just drop the Marines, but look at how he moved. Oh, I think he saw it. I'm not sure. Not sure if he saw all those medevacs there within that vision for a very short period. He just saw the one. So actually, we saw Select trying to separate it out just a little bit. However, there is Army movement here from Strelok as he is moving around. He's going to put himself a little bit closer, siege a little bit closer to where this drop may be incoming, and there it is. It is going to go down, but he put no troops in the back, and so these Marines are actually going to chase out all these SCVs. They get a couple of kills, and what else are they going to go for? They might take out a supply depot. Here comes the rest of these forces. He's not going to waste a thing, Chill. He's just going to load one. No! They left a single Marine behind, and man,
during that big drop, there was also a little drop in the main base. Select dropped, I think it was 8 Marines, but what happened there was, see the sensor tower in the top left of Strelok's main, that caught the medevac and forced it to drop. Strelok was able to stim his remaining Marines as he caught sight of that and just completely take it out. And look at what Select is doing here. He's leaving 4 Marines behind in this damaged medevac in the southern area of the map. That's really nice. When there's a lot of action going on, it's really easy to just drop that over, kill a lot of SCVs, and it takes a lot of concentration to defend and not too much concentration to pull off a move like this. So I really like Select really, just abusing there. Abusing the disparity between how much effort it takes to defend something like that and how much effort it takes to actually do a move like that.
Meanwhile, let's just take a moment to look at the sort of stats of the game. Right now, very even in Harvesters, 50 and 51, Select behind just by 1. As far as the upgrades go, nothing on the Marines, but I do believe that we have +1 just finished for Strelok and +1 about to finish for Select. He's Strelok also getting armor level 1 and just taking out the middle. I like the placement of the sensor towers by both players, especially the one down here by Select, because he's going to have a really good idea right when they're moving in through the middle as well. We do see the third base also being put down by Strelok, and this could be an opportunity. Look at the route that Select is taking right now. He is going to take out these Marines, and I wonder if this command center is just going to lift back off. No, here comes the Army. This could be the big fight.
Yeah, we have to see who gets the siege here first as they both move forward. It looks like Strelok gets the first siege. They're both actually siege as we set up the lines drawn in and siege going off. I'm trying to see who's going to take the worst of it. Looks like Select getting a bit of tank fire onto the tanks of Strelok. Select is not in range of this orbital command though, or it looks like he has 1 tank in range, able to hit it. I'm surprised he has vision of that. Is it the watchtower that's actually providing vision? Looks like it may be. Tanks moving forward for Strelok. He's got to get... Oh my god, he's actually stimming forward with his Marines. Big mistake by Strelok, losing a bit of his focus there, losing his patience, and there's a big counter drop going on, which I just caught wind of, going on at Select's natural. Marines moving forward. Looks like tanks sieging up. Select able to stim and move forward to those tanks. A lot of reinforcements being cut. Looks like Select moving forward, falling back to defend, giving up his position on the third base. Supplies telling the tale. 133 for Strelok, 84 for Select.
And I was just watching over on the side. A lot of action is going on. Select is going to still keep 2 siege tanks over here by the Xel'Naga Tower, giving him vision, and also, here comes the rest of his forces, so he's going to be forced, but he loses some Marines before these could be taken out. Medevacs might go down as well as a couple of Vikings come in. It looks like they will get away just barely. Select, meanwhile, coming through the middle of the map, and he might split up all of these reinforcements, but he's got to be careful. He is fighting into a choke right here, and there is already siege placement for Strelok. Both players actually kind of evening one another's armies, with Strelok coming out just actually way ahead. I'm counting now 10 siege tanks to 3 siege tanks. So Select actually losing quite a bit there, which is funny because I thought he had a pretty good angle when he was attacking that third of Strelok. And it looks like Strelok now going to extend himself forward and start to take the middle.
You know, this game is really showing a difference in styles. If you throw up the APM tab, you can see Select is at a monstrous 400 APM. Strelok down at, a respectable, in air quotes, 200 APM. And it's really shown in their styles. Select being more the aggressor, he's being active with his drops, but I feel like Strelok just isn't getting a lot of credit in this game because he's defending perfectly. He's dropping money scans. Like when Select was moving through the middle, he just put that map hacker sense scan right up there, doing a little drop, gets shut down, but he can donate those units, it doesn't really matter. And he's the first person to claim a third expansion, getting way ahead in both the income and the production. If we show the harvester count on the income tab, Select down at 39 harvesters, Strelok way up at 65. I mean, he's just playing a really, really solid game. He's not doing anything fancy, he's just being solid.
Yeah, I would agree. And off of that, you just mentioned his third base. It's looking really nice. It's pulling in money. They're happy that they put that franchise up. And now Strelok's like, I'm ready to put another one down. I think it's very, very smart. We do have Select at least monitoring the map, and a good pull there by Strelok as he moves his Marines away from the Xel'Naga Tower. He was moving around in position, but I do believe he's going to make center the home right now, as Select is just trying to get his unit count up. And when you look at the unit count right now, double the siege tanks over there for Strelok. He's now moving into the third position, which is going to make it very, very difficult for Select to do anything out of. And it does look like that is not going to be Select's target anyway. He's going to go up to the Behind the Rocks expansion. But look at this army here for Strelok moving forward. He's going to set up outside, and we have got to contain on Scrap Station.
You know, I feel like Select's only move here is to do a massive all-in counter drop. Strelok has the center lane completely blocked off. He's kind of putting his iron grip around the middle of the map. Select, meanwhile, has taken, as you said, the expansion at the Behind the Rocks. He's now landed that command center, dropped off some SCVs there. But really, if Select keeps trying to go like blow for blow with Strelok, who's in just a dominant position, it's not going to work. He needs to either switch up to a new composition or switch up to a new tactic, which I believe is just going all in and dropping and praying.
We do have Strelok now getting wind that there's an expansion down here, taking out this destructible debris, and you know what? That planetary is going to finish before that goes down. In fact, it's going to be very, very close. He's also got a few more Marines. By the time they get in there, it's going to have morphed up. The guns will be a-firing, and those Marines actually will just get annihilated. But these Marines over on the side, they're doing a good job of dancing around the planetary. They will take out the medevac and all the Marines, and then they'll go to the back and take out these SCVs mining, so he's not able to completely defend with just that. Meanwhile, there is the counter drop that you were talking about, Chill, as Select makes his way over with a whole lot of medevacs.
And you know, this shows exactly how good Strelok is. That medevac drop was in vision of Strelok's sensor tower for about 2 milliseconds before he unsiege all his tanks, move back. Now Select trying to siege up in the main base. He's got a few units in the medevac. He still needs to drop out, but he's just getting completely sandwiched here. He's got a reasonable position here, but I mean, the advantage is Strelok. He's completely maxed. Select at 125, and a bit of a battle going on in the middle as Select stims up some Marines and tries to push through the middle. Meanwhile, a lot of action going on the map. There's an army still at the bottom left, denying mining there for Select. He pulls that off very quickly. Strelok stims and moves through the center, losing a majority of his main base, but he's still completely maxed, trying to push forward, and he's trying to push into the main base of Select, driving through the middle.
Yeah, this is not going to be good because Strelok actually has far more unit count, and there it is, the GG coming from Select.
Wow.
Got a little bit behind at one point, and then unfortunately could not climb back up. Strelok just keeps that aggression going, and game one will go to mouz.Strelok. Overall thoughts, you know, I'm looking at the mini-map right now, and I did notice, of course, I'm sure you did too, that the gold was taken. It was up. Gases were down. I mean, there were a ton of SCVs there. So even in the back, from an economy standpoint, you know, there was no way Strelok was going to lose that. He played very patiently. There's no doubt about that. But it worked.